Okay, I believe we're live. Let's see. Do I have sound? I don't know if I have sound or not. I had the mobile dashboard up. Okay. Hey, Siren Squad. We got some good stuff to talk about today. We got a lot of stuff going on. But I want to talk about something that I have spent the weekend coming to, like, just I guess the only way to put it is just my growth and healing. That's all it is. So there's a couple things that I have figured out, because if anybody has been listening to this podcast and figures that they are struggling with anything, like, from questionable human behaviors to, I've used the word narcissist a lot. And I've decided, here's what I've decided. It really doesn't matter what kind of a label you give it. People want to be like, I guess the way I need to put it is, it doesn't really matter if why a person is doing something is because they are a narcissist, or if they have emotional trauma, or if they have all the reasons in the world why people will interact with one another on psychological levels and emotional levels that include control, manipulation, or let's just label things as unhealthy behaviors, okay? Is that those are unhealthy behaviors no matter why. And I had a very, as you guys have heard me talk about in my podcast, that this relationship I've been in that just completely just feels like I went to the upside down. It feels like things that were good were not good. Things that were bad felt like it was weird. It was a weird upside down nature. But here's the thing. I found my way out. And there's a couple things I've learned. And I wanted to jump onto a stream this morning and share them with you. So first of all, a lot of times we get all hung up on why, and we need that answer, and we need that, from the ruminating thoughts and everything. And we wonder, was it us? And then here's another big thing I wanted to talk about is that as you start to learn about these things and you see these red flags and you learn about it, there's a good chance that you're going to hear something that's going to make you go, wait, am I the problem? And I've heard this and seen this and read this in all the places that I've been going. Because for a while I was like that too. I was like, maybe I'm the narcissist. And so first of all, before I go on from that, I'm going to tell you what I know. If you are seeking to improve yourself, if you are willing to own your shit, if you hold yourself accountable for your mistakes, and if you feel badly for making them, you're not a narcissist. Okay? Narcissists are avoidant, dismissive, deflective, and one of the saddest things that I have realized this morning is they are also miserable. They will never know true happiness. They'll put on a fanfare and want to make you believe that everything is so great and they've got a perfect family, perfect job, perfect life, and they will want that. But when you're living your best life, they are also going to believe that nobody has that and that you are attacking them somehow. And it causes a retaliation of sorts. Anything you can do, I can do better. You hurt me. As if to be like, for example, it would be like somebody thinking that I've gone out and set out on this podcast just to hurt someone else and not heal myself, which is the absolute most imperative thing. I'm not out here to try to throw shade or place blame. I'm angry sometimes, and I express that in my podcasts, definitely. But if anybody thinks that I'm out here just to seemingly blame shift, no, I'm processing. And with processing, and the way you know the difference between somebody who is just blame shifting and wanting to be mean and trying to be spiteful and trying to hurt somebody because of the information that they are sharing versus the actual blame shifting is, it should get better. It should stop. Behavior should stop. Once we move past them, those behaviors should stop. And I have been in one hell of a rut for this last year, but no more. I am very well aware that the people I was interacting with are so emotionally, they're just not emotionally intelligent. And I do believe, and I'm going to share something here, because one of the things that when you come out of a narcissistic, relationship of any time, whether it's with your parents, whether it's with, an intimate partner, or whether it's with a friend or whatever, you can really feel like you can't trust anything. Okay. And the thing is psychology will give you the playbook. And if you're willing to educate yourself and pay attention, to what humans' behaviors actually say. Before I really learned all of this, I learned applied behavioral analysis for my middle son, who has autism. He could not speak, but his actions would tell me. So rather than just look at his fits and say, oh, he's having a fit, I would look at him and I would try to find that source. What is causing that overwhelming sense of emotional, like that he's struggling in this, that he's got to scream, or struggling in this where he's angry, or struggling in this where he's crying? Why is he doing that? What is the actual root? And so you start to look at the behaviors and see what's causing the tears, what's causing the actions, what's causing people to do what they're going to do. And it is a great tool moving forward in real life. But here's what happened to me. Because my brain wasn't working and I had just I was in a trauma response mode, and I had just been diagnosed with PTSD. My radar for understanding and how I perceived people's behaviors and actions, okay, was warped and misguided, because my navigational beacon for me internally was all flipped around, because things that just trauma had happened. We had a very traumatic life event happen to us. We lost a lot. Our family was suffering, and so my radar went down, and I blamed myself a lot, because that's a whole different thing about trauma, and that's not what I'm talking about today. But what I will tell you is it takes a very, very blood in the water, folks. I finally was broken. I finally was bleeding, and it takes only but a second for a shark out there in the world, those true predators, to pick up on that, and then they will swim to you and want to exhaust you for their own supply, and that is what they're going to do. So here's what has really bothered me is how, God, in all of this, how can somebody not care? How can somebody just act like that and then not? So today, I'm going to be happy. We're going to shut off the tiki bar audio here, and I'm going to share the answer with you. This is. I found this on, because educating ourselves is key. Now, moving forward in education, not ruminating. So you have questions, you can Google that shit. Why did they do this to me? Why did they do that to me? Could they be? Look it up. Education will allow you a level of self-reflection, but make no mistake, educating yourself should not put you in a place of mind where you are able to point fingers and blame, because anytime we point fingers, we have 3 fingers pointing back at us anyway. Here's what I do know. The educational side of it can help you understand how a person has affected you and let you decide how you are going to protect yourself moving forward. The problem in a lot of these deeply emotional and emotional abusive situations that people find themselves in is we get so caught up into the emotion, it's almost uncontrollable, but there is logic out there. The reason we are so emotional is because we are confused and we don't understand what is going on. And if you give yourself the power and the permission to understand and learn, well, now you know what to look for. So I'm going to share a little tidbit of something I learned this morning, and this is from the Game Exposed YouTube channel. All right. And I'll put it in the description and whatever, when I do the highlights and whatever, I like to include the links to these kind of resources I'm finding, because if they've helped me, maybe they will help somebody else. So I'm going to start this. We're going to start at 13 minutes, but this was very poignant for me to understand, because being ghosted and discarded actually causes a different kind of trauma in your brain. So especially if you're already emotionally vulnerable from childhood trauma, you've come out of a bad breakup, and one of these people finds you and they seem like they're so generous. Well, they need to believe they are. They're going to behave in a way where they can later use those words to say to you, but I helped you and you're ungrateful, but I was there for you. They're not doing it selflessly, but they do it. And they bring a great argument. Well, like, if I didn't care about you, why would I help you? Well, because there is a dependency trying to be built. And when you are a strong and fierce and amazing independent person, man or woman, they can't do that to you. And it scares the shit out of them. And that is the most important thing. I know somebody that, like go out of their way to try to see if they could get an emotional rise out of me by, just taking certain actions, not realizing that although I may be aware, I'm not going to react anymore. I'm not going to give that attention. You don't get my energy anymore because now I understand your game. And here's the sad thing that really upset me when it came to me though, is that they may not even know they're doing it, but that doesn't matter. Because if they don't know that they're affecting you that way, that just tells you that basically they're like, well, you hurt my feelings, so I'm going to hurt yours back. And that is not the sign of a mature or emotionally intelligent or an emotionally healthy person. And if you're in a state of healing or, one moment, please. I am streaming. Shut the door and wait for that. Wait until I'm done. Thank you. Or they're just teenagers and their brain is being eaten by their, hormones as they age. I have no idea. No, sorry, narcissists are toddlers, my bad. But anyhow, what I was going to say about it is that, where was I? Now I don't even know where I was. Get out of the room with your dog. Go until I'm done streaming. Out. That takes care of that.
Uh-oh.
Yep. But anyways, I was talking about the fact that I feel like I felt so sad because for a minute I realized that they don't even realize the level of a miserable existence they're existing in. So, a lot of ways that people become narcissists or avoidants, as I've learned this new term, avoidant. I really wanted to hope that my most recent situation applied to avoidant, but no, it's meticulous and calculating and evil, so therefore it's narcissist. That would be the difference. The difference is only intent. Okay, the intent is if somebody is doing something to you because they feel like you hurt them and they can't be adult enough to come to you and have a conversation and discuss that in a respectful and amicable manner, they're a toddler. You're dealing with a toddler. Read their behaviors, okay? And then act accordingly, okay? And that's what I think that has been so hard for me is that I couldn't believe I was dealing with an adult that I thought was intellectual. I was wrong. Because if he had been as smart as I thought he was, then he would choose to educate himself the ways you can. There are all kinds of ways. First, most important, I have spent all this time trying to understand what happened to me, but more importantly than that, I need to understand my reactions, why I react to that behavior that way, because I can't control that behavior. I can't make him stop acting like a toddler or pitching a fit or, you hurt me, so now I'm going to hurt you, bitch. I'm not going to do that. Okay? Like, that's not who I am. But what I can control and what is in my control is understanding how it affects me emotionally. Because most times when something affects us emotionally, yeah, it can just be because somebody's being an ass, but also these people try to find what they believe to be our insecurities, what they believe that will be our weaknesses, our vulnerabilities. And sometimes they're very right because we open up and we share so very much with them. Okay? But so if somebody attacks your weaknesses, if somebody attacks your vulnerabilities, if somebody takes the things that you have trusted them more than you have trusted anybody with, and they turn them around and they flip them on you and they use them against you in order to cause you pain, okay, no matter how hurt they are, that's not okay. And it's unacceptable. And it does not make them a healthy or good individual for you to continue interacting with. But understanding why it gets to you so much and fixing that will remove the fact that it bothers you. See, I believe that smart people all understand their issues. We understand how things affect us. You understand if you don't like the way that people chew their salad, okay? And you can prepare yourself before you go out to dinner with somebody who you know is going to chew their salad like that, okay? You're going to know, okay,
It's just
okay.
duct tape.
Yeah. But you're going to know and you're going to prepare yourself and you're going to be like, all right. Either you're going to prepare yourself in the way of, well, I hate the way they chew their salad. I'm not going to dinner. Or you're going to be like, oh, I hate the way they chew their salad, but I really enjoy being around that person. Am I in the right mental space to be able to entertain that? Can I go and can I handle the loud salad chewing tonight? And you're going to know your limits. You can't control how that person eats their food any more than you can control how that person treats you. What you can control is what your reaction to it is. And when we lose control.
I have a great example of this.
Okay, go for it.
It would be like, let them chew their salad as loud as they possibly want and let me use this roll of duct tape on their mouth.
Okay. IG's implementing my newfound thing that I didn't realize I was practicing before this last relationship I had. This is why I got so healthy, because I was already implementing this woman's theory that is let them. And by doing it, it changed my whole life. But then I got thrown off course. And again, bleeding in the water. Here's the important thing though that I wanted to get to, because so much of my podcasting has come from a place of hurt and anger and trying to figure it out. But I'm there now and I'm solid. And here's what I do. Yeah, this is the thing I really have to say about it is I'm sad. I am sad that somebody that I do, a person that I cared truly deeply for, like legitimately believed in, didn't believe in himself enough. I am sad that a person that I legitimately care for and could relate to, because we had similarities of things that we had, survived throughout our life. I'm sad that he wasn't capable of being a better person. I'm sad that he has fallen into a place where the way that life has affected him, he is now, he, whether or not he's a narcissist doesn't matter. Those behaviors are affecting his family, himself, the people he interacts with, my family, me, the people, all the other people around them will be affected. Okay. And they turn into this like spiral of negativity and hostility because they can't understand that they're afraid of real love. They're afraid of true authenticity and real love. And the only way they have learned to protect themselves is to develop these behaviors that will, if gone on long enough untreated, will develop or be classified as narcissistic personality disorder or narcissistic traits. Okay? And they will learn this. This is why it's a pattern. This is why it's a behavior. Everybody reacts to things differently. So I had a narcissistic father. How I reacted to it is the flip side of that. And that's what gets us hurt. This is why narcissists and empaths are so drawn together. Okay? Because one has experienced enough life and decided that they want to be the beacon of hope that helps people get better and believe in themselves. And the other has decided they're never going to let fucking people touch them again. Never going to let anybody get that close to them again. They're never going to let anybody hurt them like that again. Okay. So you've got the fixer and the one who can feel it, just takes it the opposite way. Will let their heart get trampled on, will give and give and give. People will take advantage of them. They will be hurt over and over and over again. Okay. And that's one way and this is very indicative. Now, I'm not saying that narcissism or empaths all come from childhood trauma, but there's a lot of science to support that they aid in the development of these kind of things. Okay. So where I became a more socially empathetic, like being able to read people's emotions, being able to feel their pain. So here's what really threw me for a loop. I could feel the pain in this person. Like I could feel the desire to want to be good. Like I knew deep down inside, I could feel his heart, but it doesn't matter because it is behind walls and walls and walls that have been constructed over time. And when something feels good, he's going to build another wall. And that's exactly what he did. He did not like the fact that his feelings for me made him feel vulnerable. It scared him. He didn't believe he was good enough. And because he has most likely has narcissistic personality disorder, that's when it kicks in and goes, I'm going to save you, buddy. And you don't have to care about that person anymore. And it is an emotional, psychological disconnect that then, though, they become entitled. And this whole podcast talked a little bit about it. I think it's at their pride. Their pride won't let them. I mean, here, let's go to that one. I have them timestamped. So let me just go to this part right here and just play this. You're gonna let me.
Selling your car to Carvana is easier
that's
than
loud.
you think.
Okay,
In
hold
just
on. We got an
seconds, we
ad,
can give you a
guys.
real offer good for 7 days.
You
All right.
ad.
Hi.
Pull it to the timestamp. I know. All right.
And they'll still keep doing what they're doing. They'll still
Oh
keep going at
God, this is not it. We pulled open the wrong one.
okay. People like to point fingers at other.
Sorry, guys. It pulled up one I don't need to hear. Apparently, narcissists that get STDs will just keep cheating. the article that popped up, and that's not what I was going to talk about. But here,
that God actually disdains because they put their pride above everything and everyone else. They even put their pride above God. So a narcissist does not want to give in to you, and their pride will keep them strong. Okay. There's two kinds of pride. There's
okay, now she has her own opinions on this, and I think it is definitely a pride, but I also think it's a fear. I believe that it is a fear where once they become so afraid, they only know how to hurt back, because that's what sends healthy people, okay, will walk away from that. Healthy people will just let it go, okay? So when they hurt you and you go back running over and trying to do the chasing and the ruminating and the following and the giving them attention, well, now they've still got you hooked. So you're not going to go anywhere. You're still a possibility of being manipulated. But when they act that way and somebody just decides to distance themselves because they're like, whoa, buddy, you a little psycho, all right? And they decide to distance themselves in that way, then that's what they want. Either way, you're either going to make it or break it in their circle. But what happens, and what can occasionally happen, and what I believe now in my case, based on the way that it all went down, he used to tell me that he wasn't good enough. No, he wasn't. He's absolutely right. He could have been better. He should pick up a book and learn how to get better. It's just a fucking excuse. Yes, you're right. You're absolutely right. Not good enough. That's on you, buddy. Fix yourself. Because whatever you are feeling you can't bring, he used to say to me, but that's just who I am. Whoa. Okay, that's just who you are. Well, that's where I should have let him and let me leave. Because let him be who obviously that's not somebody who is looking to seek self-improvement or actually get better. It is far easier to launch smear campaigns, call me crazy, and then turn around and throw emotional warfare and attacks at me to see if I still care. That's the funny thing, is I don't care. And so the only thing I can do, though, and what my biggest problem was, and I was looking to him for the answer, and it's so funny because, wow, tables have turned. He told me that even though I gave him a book on how I had, where my struggles were, what I was aware of, what I was working on psychologically, because I was very much aware of being in an unhealthy state of mind. Well, he took that and used it all against me, right? Well, the funny thing about it, though, is, he had an opportunity he could have learned from me. He could have been better. He told me once, I see you trying to be a better person. It makes me want to be a better person, too. Yeah, because I make it look easy and good until I lose my mind, and then you call me crazy. But the truth is, you made me that way. We are always reacting to people's behaviors. That is what causes the most turmoil inside of us, because if we are reacting to anything else, then it's in our control. If you are upset for how you feel, you can fix it if you're the one that is owning it. If you've done something and you feel guilty, you can apologize and forgive yourself, okay? If you have made a mistake, or if you don't like your weight, or if you don't like your hair, or if you don't like, you can do things in life to feed yourself and change it. Instead of taking that and making it your downfall, that's in your control. If you don't like the way you look, you have the power to change that. If they don't like the way you look, let them. Who cares? You can't do anything about that. So, if they're going to come to you and tell you that they, don't want your hair to be cut short, and you're going to live your whole life not cutting your hair short because that person tells you they don't like short hair, whose life are you living? And who the fuck are they to tell you to do that shit? Right? If they're going to tell you that they don't let you, I don't care what they do. I don't care. Let them. Let them hate the smell of nail polish remover and still do your damn nails. Let them. Let them have a problem with glitter and then throw a glitter ball all over your floor. Be respectful, though, because some of that shit can be crazy. But I'm saying, don't stop what you're doing for stupid reasons, because it's part of who you are for anybody. It doesn't fucking matter. You're better than that. And narcissists will go and navigate towards, no matter what. if you are healing and you are getting better, the narcissist in your life is going to bail. They are going to bail because you are going to scare the shit out of them, because nothing is more scary than a powerful person, man or woman, who has gotten a sense of themselves enough that they just ain't going to put up with the fucking shit. Because the one thing a narcissist doesn't want to do is be actually all alone. So, you know, it's funny. It's just mind-blowing to me that just flipping this mentality this much. Like, well, because it's very natural. So I watched this thing yesterday about the discard and how brutal it is and how it gives people you know, literally trauma from being in a relationship where all of a sudden the person just ups and leaves. They're gone, right? And it's so we tend to be like, oh, I must have done something wrong. You know, in my case, I was like, well, I've been a fucking psycho. I can't blame anybody. I know I've been crazy. I've been working on it. I had trauma, PTSD. I couldn't regulate my emotions. I was very openly communicative about that. I was going religiously to my therapy. I was doing all the steps that I needed to do in order to get well, but I wasn't getting better. You know why? Are you ready for this? You want to know why I wasn't getting better? Because I was sharing all of that with somebody who wanted to dismantle me and keep me in that state of mind so I was easier to control, so that he could count on it, so that he could have his cake and eat it too, so that I wouldn't go anywhere, so that he could count on me being there. Well, bitch, count on somebody else. Because I'm not. But to believe that they were the only person to show up for me when I was so unlovable, and that they were so hurt and mangled that you know, that justified their behaviors and their action. Okay. And I realize now that the biggest reason why everything really truly blew apart is because I really started, like, as I was healing, I started coming back to my roots of, I don't let my kids say can't, you can't. I started putting down boundaries. The more healthy I would get, the more toxic he'd become. And I'm going to tell you this, that one night that I decided he got jealous because I was being honest with my ex-husband about everything that was going on in my life, my feelings and everything. But mind you, and we've talked about this, and I don't care how much hate and shame I get, because I'm not proud of it either. There's nothing anybody's going to tell me that I had an affair with a married man, okay? And it was not okay. I was not in the right place and state of mind, all right? His wife and children alone. He may not have deserved my respect, but those people actually did, because they're the ones who showed up for me in life, truly. And I disrespected his family, his wife, and I had it all in my brain like I could justify it and excuse it. I had an answer for everything. It doesn't make it fucking right. It doesn't make it excusable. I still should be held accountable for that shit. That is on me. I made that choice, okay? Now I can get into all the reasons and all the fucking, sure, I could sit here and tell you all the reasons why I justified it or why it, you know, wasn't as bad as it sounded. Yes, it was. Yes, it was. It was, hey, this is how I looked at it. I'm telling my ex-husband everything that's going on. I'm being open and honest throughout the whole freaking thing that's going on, and how the other half that I was entertaining dealt with his life and his family and his shit was his choice, and I was just going to respect it. No. That's bullshit. Because that's just avoiding my accountability, that my actions will play a role in whatever may transpire out of that. The truth is, in the moment, I just didn't fucking care enough because I was just wanting to have a good time, and I was being a selfish little fuck because I had trauma and I was broken. Yeah, that might be the reason why. But let's face it, we all go do something that is going to self-soothe us, okay? And I was a shit for what I did, okay? And I can't blame anybody but myself for that. It was a bad choice. Big mistake. One that has made me want to do everything in my power to make sure that I maintain my mental health so fucking accurately going forward that I am never susceptible to going against my own morals, my own values, my own beliefs in life ever again. Because I was so broken that I didn't even believe I deserved God's love. And I used it to be like, well, what he does is on him. It's none of my business. I'm just going to do what's over here. That is not how the world works, folks. Okay? We have to understand that we are nothing more than a stone. When it hits the water, there is going to be a rippling wave. The difference will be narcissists will never own that shit. They will never. They will blame. So he blames me and I'll blame me. Okay, that's great. Fine. Go ahead. Whatever. One of the things he said to me at one point was, what about what you did to me? I wasn't capable of doing anything. But the point is, he had also told me, had also told me that,
and it's all Coldplay's fault too.
So he also told me though, well, you're the expert in these areas. I expected you to educate me. When I said, how could you not look up PTSD and understand what I was going through if you cared so much about me? How is somebody that is so good at self-education? He knew the weather. He reads, like he learns how to do things. He learned how to, electronics. He could learn how to do anything. He just didn't want to learn about me because I didn't matter. So he just didn't take the time. He goes, well, I expected you to tell me. You expected the mentally ill, broken person who is telling you that they are really fucked up in life to educate you in their spare time, as if I had any? In their moments, or wait, maybe in my moments of mental clarity, as if those existed at the time, because if they had, I wouldn't have had a fucking affair. Okay? So, yes, Trusty needed me to educate. No, that's lazy. You're fucking lazy. You're fucking lazy. You didn't care enough about it to fucking look it up, to try to see how you could be the best support, because you just wanted to play in the sandbox. But then the discard happens, and that's what this is what I have not been able to understand, okay? And gets really confusing sometimes. So, because I couldn't understand this. And so the value in the discard is it's just everything's over. It's just, they just walk away. They pull the rug out from under you and nothing ever existed, okay? So this woman talks a little bit about this, and I wanted to share this with everybody because that is one of the most things. It's well, didn't I matter to them? Didn't I mean anything? How can they just walk away? How can they not care? Well, first of all, the robots. But also,
let me guess. You're thinking about going to therapy. And as a therapist myself, of course,
God, can you guys tell what kind of ads I get?
Idea.
Okay.
Was not lying to the person, was not gaslighting the person. They went
in. I gotta go back a little. I thought I.
Now, here's what I have to say to Fi. Okay. Because sometimes I get these people that come and they say, well, everybody's pointing the finger at the narcissist, but how about everybody else take their own accountability? Okay. People like to point fingers at other people, but they don't like to be accountable themselves. All right. Now, here's what I have to say to this. In some cases, that is true. But generally, the victim of narcissistic abuse was not being deceptive, was not lying to the person, was not gaslighting the person. They went in wholeheartedly and were vulnerable with this person and really tried with this person, okay? They weren't playing games. That's the difference. They weren't playing games.
And that is why we who are genuinely being authentic, loving, and truthful and kind and have a real heart that we aren't trying to emulate. Well, we are in these kind of situations. That other person is trying to read you. They're trying to make themselves appear as good for you and what you need and as enticing for you because they want you in their life at that moment. But the minute that they don't want you in your life anymore, none of it mattered. Okay, so they're just going to turn around and they're going to flip, and that's going to leave you sitting there being like, "But I thought I knew them." But this and that. But he wouldn't do that if that, or they wouldn't do this if that, and nobody could be that mean. Yes, listen to me right now, folks. Yes, they can. Now, I might have a slightly passive approach to my opinion on this, and it's not going to be a popular one. Narcissists are nothing more than hurt little children who didn't get the help they needed, learn what healthy was, and had to grow up in a cold, unloving place. They don't know real love. They can't give you real love because they don't even feel it. That's the real truth. It's a mirror. They don't know. And then when they do start to feel it, it scares the shit out of them because love, true love, makes you feel vulnerable and afraid. Am I right? Like, if you're really going to go out on a limb for somebody, it can be scary. And if they take your heart and they do something with it that you don't like or that affects you poorly, now you're going to be more protective. And it's going to set off an insecurity because you are trying to protect yourself because that is the natural way of living. We're human. We have to survive. The whole point of life is survival, but some of us are more graceful at surviving than others. And I don't mean that to say that you have to have grace to be graceful, by the way. What I'm saying is we will get through it in the end, come full circle, in a better manner than all. Not all people are going to do that. But if they're not doing it, it's because they either don't realize that they have a problem, which that can't be the thing. I can't tell you how many times I told him he had issues. But secondly, they're not willing to educate themselves and find a new way. And that is the saddest thing in the world and can bring tears to my eyes. Because you know what that means? That means that somebody that I cared very, very much about will never know truth, will never know true happiness because they will hide behind this wall and they have learned behaviors that are so predictable by psychology that they've given it a name, a personality disorder. And most of the time it comes from being so just neglected, hurt, and abused as a child. And then they're going to repeat the cycle. There's a reason why his kids were telling my kids that they weren't loved. Because the cycle will repeat. And that makes me even sadder. Because see, in my family, I recognize that. I recognized I had childhood trauma. I recognize that I may be a problem. And I may have gone too far in accepting my ex-husband's behaviors instead of being real and just coming to terms with the fact that he might not be my person. Okay? That's why we can talk now, be friends, and support one another, because he can be that without being my person. Okay? And it's not easy. It wasn't easy to get there. But not everybody is going to heal at the same rate. But the one thing I have always been is truthful and authentic to myself. Might be misguided, but truthful and authentic. And narcissists can't handle that. And the reason they can't handle it is because it's going to make them jealous. How do you make it? He told me, he said, teach me how to have faith. Like I could teach that. He doesn't even believe in himself. He's got, it's like it's like when they're going to, I guess chickens do this. Don't chickens and roosters, when they fight, like they stomp and puff up all their feathers? You know, like how things in the wild try to make themselves look bigger and better and so great. There's a fanfare. Look at my great, perfect family. Look how good we look. Look at my great job. And meanwhile, inside, there is nothing but emptiness. And that, I hate to say it to you guys, but that makes me sad for the narcissists. It does. Doesn't mean that I'm going to be so sad for them that I let them in my life. Doesn't mean that I'm going to accept the way that they treat me. But I am going to at least have a level of compassion and understanding with, wow, I wouldn't want to live that life. I wouldn't want to never understand what true honesty, authenticity, and love means. See, the reason why so many of us have these emotional reactions and we react to these people this way is because we do know what that means. Even if it was for a moment and things didn't work out, you've had the moments in your life where you have felt genuinely loved or you have felt genuinely happy. And you have been thankful for that moment in that moment, even if it comes back to hurt you later. Very clearly, narcissists have never had that. So it's not worth it. Their fears will hold them back from ever experiencing what is best for their own self. And I'm not saying that I would have been perfect for this guy, okay? I'm not saying that. I think we were really good together, but then again, I don't know who the fuck he is because it was all an act, okay? So of course we were really good together when he was working to be somebody that was perfect for me, which is why it was too good to be true all along. But what makes me really sad is that he had an opportunity to learn how to be different truly, and he still chose to lie and to play games and to manipulate and to drive wedges to protect what he wanted in the world, instead of just being man enough to be like, this is what I want in the world and go get it. Because that's the real difference. They think they have to lie, manipulate, and cheat because they're not worthy of having it. They're not capable of having it. And in their state of mind, they're not in that moment. They're not. Because they don't know how. But he had an opportunity to learn and he pissed it away. And I'd hate to fucking be that person too. Because in the end, like telling me to not talk psychology. You don't want to learn about yourself? You don't want to live a better, happier life? Okay, that should have been a big, big red flag. I should have been gone. Should have been gone. But there's more telling red flags because my brain is fixed now and I have the psychology. And I now understand why I was reacting the way I was, which means I can stop it, which is so awesome. Let them. Because that was the other thing I was going to say. And we'll listen to this because so they will do the discard devaluation. They will just drop you like it's hot. And they can go a month without talking to you.
The narcissist was the one who played the games. And that's why the narcissist is the one who is toxic. And that's why we talk about why narcissists should take accountability, because they hurt people for their own selfish benefits. Okay? That's for the person who wants to say, well, people ought to look at themselves. Well, these people that are pointing the finger at the narcissist, they didn't deceive them. They didn't gaslight them, okay? I'm speaking for the ones that didn't, okay? If the other person...
Now, here's the other thing. Imagine this. Narcissists see a behavior. Their guard is up. They decide they're going to question you. They ask themselves, well, why would I act that way? Why would I be so loving and nice? Why would I be so forgiving? To get what I need, so they must be too. And boom, it shuts it down. They believe you are doing something for a reason you are not. They believe that you are retaliating. When they will hurt you, when they feel hurt and they go out of their way to then try to do something that will hurt you, that's because that's what they believe you are doing. They believe that you are actually setting out to decimate them. And so they're going to react to you the way using their mentality, because that's the way they think. Oh yeah, I'll show you whatever you can do. Not realizing that you're attempting to communicate possibly in healthier manners, that is not where the peace, because they don't know any better. They don't know that there is a different place that this action can come from that is not deceitful, not damning, not out to make you vulnerable enough so that you give me your secrets and I can hurt you. And the worst part about it is I found myself drawn into this to a point where I was exhibiting those kind of behaviors because I was raised by a narcissistic father. I know the walk of the trade, and it can pull as they escalate or just ignore or whatever they do. The way you react to narcissistic behavior can very much lead you to start learning the game in a way where you're reacting to them in the same way. So now you got both of you reacting with these unhealthy, toxic interactions because, well, you're just learning from each other at this point now, but it's all negative. Okay, it's all negative. Healthy communication and staying regulated is going to require somebody that can, I wish I had been more capable of doing it. But I was a little broken, but that's what therapy is for. That's what education is for. That's why I spend my time on these self-help things. That's why I listen to this stuff. If I can understand why he's doing something, that's fine. But what I really need to understand is, why am I reacting to him that way? What is my issue that is causing me to get drawn and sucked into that level of fucking hell? Right? Well, it's because I didn't believe I was good enough. Because I made mistakes and my confidence had dwindled. And I wasn't able to control my emotions because I had trauma. And I was in a trauma response mode and very well aware of the fact that my behavior was not healthy. That's why I ended my marriage. And then my ex-husband's behavior got even more toxic. So that's why it's still over. Okay? But everybody's going to get that rule. Everybody's going to get that rule. Okay? And yeah, I made mistakes, and I really did believe I was a bad person. I really believed that because of the mistakes I had made and because of the fact that, I've forgiven myself now, so I can't say that I actively do it. But when I truly sit and think about the mental anguish that I've probably caused his wife from being involved in this at all, that shit is going to be one of the biggest regrets of my life, because she didn't deserve that. She didn't deserve that. He could have handled it the same way I did. Never did a single thing with him. I separated from my husband. I told my husband what I was going to be doing. I told my husband I needed time. And then I embarked on this so-called, I can't even call it a relationship, y'all. I can't. I embarked on this situationship, if you will, I guess. Whatever. It doesn't matter. But I was very open with my husband, ex-husband. But I told him, I was not going to stay in my marriage and lie if I thought I was having feelings for another person. There's no way I was. And after everything that had happened, so I needed time to figure it out. And we separated. But it shouldn't have been okay to figure out until he did something of equal value, okay? Like stepping in and being like, well, if you cheat on your wife, that's your problem. I can't cheat on my husband because I'm righteous. No, that's not how that works. Okay, that is not how that works, all right? And that's not what I was doing. I'm not saying I was righteous. I was just saying that I had built my marriage on truth. And I wasn't going to sleep with another man well, married. I guess it just didn't matter that he was, and that's fucked up. So I had to forgive myself for that. And it hasn't been easy, you guys. So go ahead and throw me all the hate you want and tell me what a fucking, seething fucking whore I am. Because anything you have to say to me, I trust me for the love of God. I won't probably argue. It's about who I am today, though, and how I won't make that fucking mistake going forward. Everybody makes mistakes. The real important thing is about how and that's what I've been doing. That is what I've been busting my ass to do. Because whatever led me to make that mistake in the first place is so out of my character for who I am as a human being in general. I need to understand why I was willing to break my own moral code, my own values, my own set of things that I believed in. I broke it. Why? Well, I was desperate because I was in such a darkness. I understand that, and I was mentally ill. And it's gonna be something I have to maintain. You don't just get better from fucking being abused. You don't just get better from post-traumatic stress disorder. You don't just get better from trauma. You have to go out there and you have to figure it out. And it is so personal. You've got to find what is your little thing inside of you that is causing you to be susceptible to what you are going through. What is the heart of the experience? What is it that you're not dealing with? And learn that. Are you having this problem because you have been affected by somebody else's behaviors? Is the event, have you been in a car accident? You can't control it. This is, it just can be so big. People who are in car accidents end up with trauma. They may not want to get in a car, and I've talked about this before, or they may push themselves because they have to learn, they have to get back up on that horse. There are two different ways that people go about it, but either way, those people are recognizing that they've been in a horrific accident and that life is going to take a new way of learning in order to get over it. But when the scars are inside, visible, and emotional, that's a whole lot more to weed through. It's not as simple as, well, I was in a bad car accident, now I don't like cars. It's more like, I was a good person, and now I can't figure out why the hell I feel fucking crazy. And it's like, keep talking and nobody explodes wire traps. Like, you're trying to figure it out, and you're trying to get somebody else to tell you who can't even see or know what's going on, and you are relying on them to fix you. You got to find it in yourself. And therapy helps with that, because they'll help you like peel back those layers until you have your aha moments where you're like, all right, I understand this about myself. I have spent way too much time trying to understand what he did to me instead of understanding why I reacted the way I did. And that is the biggest takeaway from what I am podcasting today. Okay, chat, listen to me. It is way more beneficial to put your energy into not trying to understand why somebody else did something, but what you can do that will make you feel comfortable, so whatever state of mind you're in right now does not happen to you again. And sadly, some people might be, I'm just going to be single for life. I mean, is that who you are? Is that who you want to be? Is that going to really make you feel safe? You'll be surprised at how you start to focus on yourself, how much better you become, how much stronger you feel, and how much more insignificant those people who have hurt you or stood in your way become. The pain will subside because it will be drowned by the love for yourself. But nobody can love themselves when they feel defective. And a lot of times that's where this all comes to. Where is it? Where is it? What is defective within you that allows this person to get to you and pull at your heartstrings and get the reaction they're looking for? And how do you stop it? How do you stop having the emotional impulsivity? How do you stop? I mean, I have fucking obsessively called texted or emailed this guy probably at least once a month for the last 7 months. Okay. Like, I'm not proud. I get mad and I dump. I should have been going out and meeting new people like I have now. I should have gone out and started living my life like I have now. I should have spent more time not ruminating and wondering why he did what he did to me, but what I was going to fucking do with me now. Because now I'm single, alone. I don't need somebody to love me. I can go have fun. I don't need him in my life. He's just an experience. One I had to survive, mind you. One of the things that they talk about in here, though, is how they'll cut off this contact, though. And this is the shit that scares me. And this is why it's important, chat, to fucking turn around and find your source. Find out what makes you susceptible to their witchcraft. If somebody is making you feel like shit, ask yourself what inside of you are they using? Because something you are insecure about or something you don't like about yourself is the way that people are going to get that way to make you feel even shittier about yourself. Okay? And it's up to you. And if you can't brush them off and they're truly making you feel like shit about it, it's probably because you feel like shit about that on your own life. And that's something you can do something about. Okay? People struggle with weight all the time. I've done it my whole life. Okay? But even in some of my heaviest weights, I have still believed I was a beautiful person. It didn't bother me to the fullest extent. But let's say that somebody is calling you a fat ass and laughing at you and whatever, and you're feeling really, really shitty inside. You do have a choice, and it might be a hard one, but you're going to have to learn how to take better care of your body in order to get there. There are so many different things you can do, but it's going to be a lot of hard work and effort. And you don't have to do that for anybody. If you are a perfectly happy overweight person, then be a happy overweight person. You don't need to listen to anyone. Don't let somebody else judge and dictate what your ideal body type should be. If you're happy, you're happy. But my guess is if it's something they're attacking and it makes you feel bad, then you might not be. And that is something only you know and only you can do about and should never, ever, ever do it for. You should only do it because it will feed yourself. And the best thing in the world that you can invest in is yourself because it will keep you. Then you are confident, you are happy, and let them give you shit about your weight. Let them. Who cares? If you're happy, it doesn't matter. Okay? And so let them throw 2-year-old temper tantrums and think that because they got their feelings hurt and they didn't like things that you said that they're going to have to come back and hurt your feelings. Can't touch me because I'm confident in what I'm saying. I know I'm not doing it. I'm not doing it from a place to hurt another person. That is what they can't understand. See, people will attack and, when they feel hurt, they're like, oh, I'm going to get them back. And they don't even realize they're doing it. But then they try to flip it and be like, oh, yeah, well, how do you like this? Okay, let them. Who cares? Let them. It doesn't matter. Because as long as you are focusing on whatever is upsetting you, you focusing on how and why it upset you, now you know what to avoid. You won't see me, you will definitely hear from me going forward where I'm like, yep, narcissist. I don't care if you only have one of the 7 signs of narcissism. This is not going to be a relationship I can entertain. Okay? Because one red flag is too many for me now. I've dealt with there's been so many flags on the field that I can't even see the fucking grass anymore. So I definitely see one more red flag and I'm out. And it doesn't matter. And it doesn't matter what intent is. It matters how it affects you. What does it do to your quality of life? What does it do? You have one life to live. Your only job is to make it the best you can for you. Be happy. What is going to make you happy? What do you want in life? People want to please everyone else. Well, I have to, do this. I have to do that. And then they find themselves in trouble at Coldplay concerts. No, I'm just kidding. Just kidding. Just narcissistic fucking bullshit. But no, I mean, on the real though, like healthy people aren't going to lie. Healthy people aren't going to try to hurt you. And healthy people are going to be able to have a communication. Let's talk about this. Let's work out a resolution. Let's be adult enough if there's not a resolution to understand that and respect one another. And what happens is when we have these insecurities and we have these things, like I keep talking about the shark in the water, people will, you're giving off a scent that makes the ones that don't want to be healthy go, I know exactly how to push this one's button to get what I want. And how long will you be there? How long will you be there not knowingly having your buttons pushed because you haven't dealt with it? Shut that shit down. Cut that cord. Don't have buttons people can push. Doesn't mean don't care. It just means when you care, people who care about you aren't going to push your buttons. And if they try, let them. And then let you walk the fuck away from that shit. Mel Robbins has changed my life and it's amazing. She reminded me of who I was before all of the shit that I've gone through. And it has been it is so empowering that I'm getting headaches from how much my growth. It is so much easier to ignore things. I'm no longer emotionally afflicted. Except for, that's a lie, except for the fact that I'm sad. I am absolutely shattered in a lot of ways with sadness because I now realize he'll never be happy. He'll never know love. He'll never truly love anybody else as long as he lets himself sit in that mindset. He's not capable of it. Not in the way that he conducts himself, not in the way that he acts, not because of what he's learned. He's got too many walls up. He's got an avoidant. He won't talk. He doesn't do proper communication. And he excuses that, well, that's just who I am. That's who I am. Well, let him. If that's what makes him happy, but I highly doubt that. And that's what makes me sad. That's what used to draw me into wanting to help people so much. Believing that I could show them that they could get through their troubles and end up on the other side as a happier, healthier person. But it takes work on their part, and nobody can save you. Only you can save yourself. And the best place to start is understanding. I mean, it does help to understand what why a person is treating you the way they are. That is helpful, but don't stay there too long. Once you figure out why somebody is treating you, if you've experienced a certain set of like clockwork kind of, actions and behaviors, don't stay there waiting to find out why or trying to fix it or whatever. Recognize that these behaviors that this person exhibited have affected you in X, Y, and Z manner, and work on X, Y, and Z, because that's the only way. You can't control them. And some people don't want to get better because it requires being vulnerable. A narcissist can't get better because that would require being fully honest and vulnerable, and they're too fucking afraid to do it. They're too fucking afraid to apologize. They're too fucking afraid to own their shit. They're too fucking afraid. They'll just wait. And then when you hit the right nerve and they seemingly have a feeling, usually jealousy, usually envy, usually pride. You've attacked something. They don't like it. So then all of a sudden, they seem like they can missile, target you, what you care about. And whether or not, I really don't know. Do they know that they're throwing that level of psychological warfare? I have no idea if they know they're doing it, but I can tell you this. They don't care what it'll do to you. They wouldn't. So I just had to jump on here and share what I learned over the weekend. It's Monday. It's Margarita Monday. We are doing the Margarita Pass for IG326 today. It's down, I believe this is the plan. Of course, I doubt your posts will start coming out until next Monday, since, we have to go live this Margarita Monday. Then they'll start actually like rolling out next Monday, right? Is that how that'll work?
Yeah, that probably will be how it works. And then, so basically, the way it will work is they'll have like posts on social media and
I'm
shorts
so
on the
stupid.
IRL
You can do
channel.
Margarita Monday, but that doesn't mean we only have to wait for Mondays to go have margaritas. We can go do these Margarita Passes any day of the week. You just do the posts on Mondays, bro.
Well, yeah.
I was sitting here thinking I was constricted to only having margaritas on Mondays. My day just got a whole lot better.
Well, it's still Monday.
Well, yeah, and I'm going to use it as a justifiable excuse to absolutely, validate the fact that I need to go to Snoopy's today. It's a need. It's a necessity because, fuck that shit. I'll do it if I want. That's what I used to do. I used to have to justify everything. Fuck that shit. I'm out. But no, I was thinking like, oh, we got to go do it because it's Monday. Well, maybe I'll change my mind. Maybe we'll go tomorrow. I don't fucking know. But that'll be the idea. So, but it's going to be Margarita Monday today because I want to go. And then maybe tomorrow will be Margarita Tuesday that you post for the following Margarita Monday. And the one after that, and the one after that. Maybe we'll just go have margaritas all week long.
Well.
I love tequila. It's good.
We'll
How you feeling, by the way, IG? Because the day we found out we're going to Hollywood, you was a little tipsy.
Yeah, but that's what happens when you drink 3 Twisted Teas back to back to back and only get 3 pieces of chicken.
I
could have eaten like 20 pieces of those chicken.
I honestly could have too. Yeah. Wow. You know what? Before I go, there's
So
another
when are
one.
we going to Hollywood to drop it out?
I think it's looking like, okay. So, well, you have to tell me because LA is where the VCTs are and you were looking at the 3rd. What we might end up doing is leaving the morning of the 4th and just going out and seeing what it's all about and then heading straight home from probably. I'll look. It's either that or we're going to get out there. I got to look. But it's 1 week away. We're leaving within the next week. Probably gonna have to wait for after we let them in for all of the pest control things at the apartment. So we're either leaving late on the 28th or early on the morning of the 29th.
Gotcha. And then and then how long are we staying?
So pretty
'Cause I don't know
lady
when.
pretty lady's gonna be there until the 4th. She's there from the 29th to the 4th. But we're driving and she's flying.
Yeah. So it'll probably take us what 2 days to get to LA.
Oh no, that's right. We're all the way down in Mexico now. I didn't think about that.
Yeah. Here, hold on. I wonder. Hold on. Let me pull up Google Maps real
Oh
quick.
God, I'm about to be scared. Our 1 week vacation, our 1 week to 10-day vacation may just become a 5-day vacation.
Our 1 week vacation is going to be
I just
mainly
acted like I was gonna
driving.
pop right out and we were just gonna go and there was
Yeah,
gonna
you
be
were
nothing.
just gonna
Yeah,
appear in Los Angeles.
like it was. There's no way it'd be more than a day drive. What are you talking about? We'll get there in a day. It'll be fine. Oh, I haven't lived in Texas for a while. I forgot. How long is the drive?
Just directions. Then put in our address. I won't say it out loud on stream because that would be bad. Oh
No.
no.
You please not tell me 36 hours.
Okay. Oh, it's not that bad.
Okay.
It's not that bad.
What is it?
It's going to be 22 hours and 26 minutes. We will get to go through New York. I mean, we're going to get to go through New Mexico,
I was
Arizona.
gonna say New York.
and
You've
then
got the wrong map up, brother. Okay, we're gonna get to go through We're gonna get to go through New Mexico.
we're going to get to go through New Mexico, Arizona, and then we'll be entering in the very bottom of California because it's Southern California for LA.
All right. Well,
And
we're
we'll be next to Santa Monica and Long Beach.
We're gonna be going to Santa Barbara first. I think it's Santa Barbara, or is it Santa Clara? Santa Barbara. Yeah, Santa Barbara.
Let me put in Santa Barbara, California. That changes our destination to 24 hours because it's apparently whole 2 hours away from Los Angeles. It's literally on the coast though. So, bro, we're gonna make it into Los Angeles first, and then we get to keep driving, and we're basically gonna drive for 2 hours with the beach to our left.
I mean, that sounds like
It
living.
looks like.
That sounds like living life. Okay. We're going to have to get a little bit more organized. This is happening in a week. We're supposed to leave in a week. We are not ready to leave in a week. We need to do some contingency things today. Children need to be prepared for. This is, wow. All right. I guess I got some shit I got to go do. We got to go. I was just like, oh, it'll happen. It's not even a big deal, but somebody's going to have to make it happen because I need to find the car. I need to.
We need to find a car that will actually rent to us so we can, take it.
Oh, that won't be a problem.
State.
Yeah, no, that won't be a problem. We'll use Avis because I got an account with them. That's fine. We're gonna bring the car back to that place. And we might even be, because we're down here, we might even be lucky enough that we can rent a Jeep.
And
might
wait,
be.
are these
But
tickets
Jeeps are
sold
like
out?
$300 a day. What tickets?
Yeah, those are sold out.
Okay, you're gonna probably need to buy the Loud V Crew tickets. Like, we're gonna probably have to do that here.
That is probably what we're gonna do.
Yeah.
Yeah, Loud V Crew still has a lot of tickets open. So if we get money,
I want you to keep an eye on it. And then, like, as soon as we can, no matter what, we'll do it. But just in case we need to prioritize some things, we'll hold off. So
if these guys sell out, though, we will be screwed. Because August 3rd is the last day of week 2 for the con.
And there's no other
tournament.
tickets except for August 3rd. There's no other fucking tickets available.
Well, there's some other tickets available, but not until August 8th.
So there's none before that, is what I'm saying, because we're going to be there for the whole week up until then.
Yeah, no tickets before. It's either August 3rd or anytime after August 3rd. August 2nd, 1st are all sold out.
Nobody likes Sundays. I got my tickets so cheap to the last concert I went to. Okay. Fudge, we got some shit to do. All right, chat. So listen, on that note, though, I should probably let you guys know, hey, I'm going on a trip. And Siren, the Gulf Coast Healing Podcast is not going to be airing as much. We're trying to shoot for more of a weekly thing, but I'm just going to jump on here if I got anything to say like I did this morning. So it doesn't really matter. But we're going to be, you might want to follow Facebook. You might want to check out YouTube because we will be posting We're Living Life. That's what the Gulf Coast Healing Podcast is all about. Learning to live life and doing it on my own and being my best self and living my happiest version. And that's all that's going to happen. And ain't nothing going to hold me down. Can't stop me. I'm untouchable. Finally.
Yeah.
Finally. How long was I crafting this armor? Fucking a year and a half. Craft the armor. So
It's going to be such a fun road trip.
It is going to be a fun road trip. I hope we don't have to take any ferries.
Oh, no.
They scare me.
To the desert. We're going to the desert side of America. There's going to be less water.
Says the person who just told me I'm going to drive on an oceanfront for 2 hours. I know nothing about geography, by the way, chat.
That's after we get to California. Yeah, we're going through New Mexico and Arizona, the two fucking places known for having desert.
Drive by that place that might be Area 51, but I bet it's way out there. No, I don't. They scare me. You know what?
Yeah,
that's going to be the
Roswell,
next one.
Isn't it?
That's the next
and
one.
That's
that I'm going to conquer.
We could drive through Las Vegas if you want to add a couple hours.
How far is Las Vegas from here? Maybe that's our halfway stop.
Las Vegas?
Yeah, what if we go to Las Vegas and then... Because face it, we're going to have to get a hotel somewhere. There's no way I'm going to drive for 24 hours straight and be alive.
Yeah, Las Vegas is 20 hours away.
Well, that didn't help. That's way out of the way.
Nah. Yeah, well...
Roswell, New Mexico,
Roswell, New Mexico is going to be the same fucking out of the way.
Okay. All right. We'll have to look at the map and figure out where we're going to go. But all right, chat. I hope that all of you continue. Please, for any of you that are struggling, please go check out Mel Robbins. She's got a book. She's everywhere. Just Let Them by Mel Robbins, her Let Them theory. It is so simplistically, I didn't even realize I was living this life before the last 2 years. This is what got me to healthy, and I didn't even know I was doing it. She's named it. She's given it a theory. She's done it. And it is why I was so happy before that. Hey, of course you show up. We're ending the podcast.
This is my stream now.
I am the captain now.
I just end stream. Just eject 86th. What?
I just pop in to say hi and waiting for my dad to get out of the doctor's office, which I think I just saw him come out the door, but I'm not sure.
That's right. It's Monday. You're off. What are you doing today?
Running for my dad, working on my dad's car, working on my dad's car some more, and then possibly playing Tarkov with IG.
I thought he said he was running from his dad.
Well, that's what he wants to be doing.
We went to Walmart, and they had only one tire left that would fit his car, and it was on clearance for $40.
But don't you need 4 tires for a car?
Well, one of them didn't hold air. The other 3 held air. So basically, he needed one to be able to get the car to a shop to freaking put tires on. So,
well, that's a win then. Then I call that a win. A 1 tire on sale sounds awesome.
Yeah, then that one's going to become the spare because it's probably going to be mismatched from the other tires. You know.
Does he have that white rim, like white wall? Like, is it like
no,
old?
not on this one.
Oh, hey! I found something for your dad. By the way, I got news for you. If you go, where were we? AutoZone. No. O'Reilly Auto Parts has a cassette tape that turns your radio into Bluetooth.
It's cute. You think his car has cassette tape? It's just an AM radio, bro.
I thought for a second you were gonna be like, it's just an 8-track Andromeda, and I was gonna be like, oh, they don't sell those.
8-track, bro. It's AM.
Wait, there's not even FM?
Nope, it's just AM.
That's one old car.
Well, never mind then. It's not gonna work for you. I just can't believe you can put
No.
I can't believe you
Really?
can listen though. I can't believe you can put a cassette tape into a car and make it Bluetooth. Is anybody else
Yeah.
just like a little like
Yeah, I've
wowed
seen
by
that
that?
before.
It's crazy.
I've seen that like
All about
probably
just
like
adapters.
6 years ago.
I didn't pay attention because I mean I had no reason. I wasn't driving. I
Keep up
was
with the times.
hey. Yeah, I'm getting back into life now. I forgot. I've just been
Okay.
too busy taking care of everybody else. You know, it's
I can listen to you, but I have to mute.
that's fine.
There's
We're about
nothing
to
on my back.
we were just ending stream as you popped in anyway. So I'm just gonna end up closing it up here and tell chat to get out there, live, love life, and have a good time and take care of yourselves and each other.
Need apple.